Birthday hour, birthday hour shy, birthday hour, birthday hour shy, birthday hour, birthday hour shy. Call Elohim Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal, Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders which are a great millstone. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akim pushing this truth and sincerity. And those who put the videos up throughout the week to feed the sheep. It's Makwah from the Trump in the VA camp, and I'm gonna get right into it. So this is matter of fact, before I read this, I just thought about when Trump X, I believe it was Bill Gates. Oh, it was Apple. So yeah, Trump was asking Apple if they would build him some 5G towers. That made me think of this, because it says right here, it says Bill Gates wants to export India's national ID system around the globe. No, it's supposed to be a video over here. Because we know this is we know what's going on. They trying to get the mark of the beast up and running. Okay. They trying to get it a worldwide thing.
Don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Current debate that's on in India and globally as well around data. Now, you've been an advocate of Aadhaar. You've supported it, you've defended it. And I think that the questions arise not on whether it's a good idea or not, but whether it should be made mandatory for every citizen, for every service possible, because it was envisaged as people accessing government subsidy using the Aadhaar card to avoid duplication and leakages. The question then is that India today is still grappling with putting in place a privacy framework, a privacy regulation, a data protection regulation. In that context, then, does it make sense, even though the matter is in court today, to link Aadhaar to every possible service?
Well, Aadhaar is just something that avoids you pretending to be somebody else. That, you can have, fake people on the government payroll. Aadhaar prevents you being on that payroll as a ghost worker. It prevents you from collecting things that you shouldn't collect or accessing a health record you shouldn't have access to. So the basic Aadhaar mechanism is an identity mechanism. And so it's too bad if somebody thinks that because Aadhaar is there, that in and of itself creates a privacy problem. The privacy issue is about the application, okay? If you're using Aadhaar for your taxes or your benefits, who has access to that information? The idea that you have an identity, wow, that's only in some weird philosophical thing. That's not it's an arbitrary 12-digit number. It's the policies for the application, who can see the land registry, who can, certainly things like voting privacy or medical record privacy, everybody agrees that's super important. Tax records, okay, people will vote, how visible should corporate, what they pay or don't pay, or, individual taxation, is there visibility about those things? So it's strange to see what are legitimate privacy issues being turned into that you should be able to, still have ghost workers on the payroll, that there's a right to have duplicates, which has cost so much money and so much credibility.
Yeah.
You know, even the various things that have gone to Aadhaar, cutting out the middleman, you know, there's no credibility when the rich people end up taking these benefit programs and being able to capture all the money. The inefficiency is so unjust, and so you know, now a lot of that fraud, you know, for the programs that have adopted it isn't there. So, you know, huge upside if people care about government quality.
But since you do, I mean, you know, if data is now the new commodity, if data is the new oil, and we're still trying to put in place a privacy architecture, you know, we've got the GDPR rules that have just been rolled out across Europe. What's your sense on regulation and its impact on the way we deal with technology in light of the new regulations?
Well, certainly there will be privacy regulations about your medical record, your tax record, those things. That's all, you know, an absolutely fine thing. GDPR is more about how the private sector deals with your records. There'll be other rules that have to do how the government deals with your records. The government, in some cases, you know, has access to things that are even more sensitive, you know, because of their role in healthcare. So I don't see appropriate regulation as slowing down if people are rational about it. It won't slow down the adoption of
This is not a social credit score system spreading around the world from China that threatens the free people of the world. India's Aadhaar National ID program has the full support of Bill Gates and the World Bank as a model for other countries to follow. Let's see.
Across India, almost every citizen has stood in line to get a new national ID. Next. It's a 12-digit number backed by biometric security, a headshot plus fingerprints plus an iris scan. It is the most exhaustive head count by a country in history. Ajay Bhushan Pandey heads Aadhaar, the agency running the identification program.
We have now reached the figure of 1.15 billion people. Among the adults, more than 99% of the adults have Aadhaar now.
Pandey says the Aadhaar project, which has so far cost 90 billion rupees, about $1.5 billion, improves national security by making it easier to monitor border crossings with India's neighbors, like Pakistan and Bangladesh. He says the biometric IDs verify identity and weed out corruption by replacing paper records, if they even exist, with electronic ones. Aadhaar is bringing vast sections of the country that barely entered the industrial age into the digital age. Many people in India don't have birth certificates or formal IDs, and the government says that the Aadhaar program will correct this problem by issuing everyone a unique biometric identification. A tool of inclusion is what the government calls it. A third of India's population survives on less than $2 a day. They and many low to middle income people receive government benefits, including temporary employment in public works, farm subsidies, and food commodities distributed through ration shops. The system is rife with fraud, fake paper IDs, fake beneficiaries, and theft by middlemen preying on vulnerable, often illiterate people. The new harder-to-fake IDs are designed to alleviate these problems, says a spokesman for India's ruling party, the BJP, in the capital, Delhi.
30 years back, when late Mr. Rajiv Gandhi was Prime Minister of India, he has used a phrase, when 100 rupees goes from Delhi.
So as you can see, that's the system that they got in place. Biometrics, iris, the eyes, iris, and the photo. And obviously, Americans don't have that. Americans just have the everybody don't have the nobody has. Well, the majority of the regular citizens don't have iris. Everybody doesn't have fingerprints. Now, most of the people, if not all, has the picture. Now, Bill Gates wants to bring this to America. So he wants to incorporate this into America. And Trump is going to be all for it, obviously. Because we know they all working hand in hand. Because that's how they get down. And they want to tie this into the real ID. And we know that's just the gateway to the mark of the beast, which is the RFID microchip, which is you take it, you're going to be destroyed. Which this is beautiful. I love this right here. I love stuff like this. So real soon, after they get the real ID, that thing set up, and Trump get those 5G towers, you know it's going to be pushed out later on. That the RFID microchip. Second Corinthians 2:11. Least Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. Let's go into ignorant. It says not to understand, unknown to through lack of information or intelligence. And we don't lack information or intelligence when the devil's concerned, and Satan and the devil being the so-called white man. Okay, we don't lack knowledge on that. We know he's the devil, and we know what he got planned. Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty, so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. Let's go to enterprise.
Enterprise.
It says a project or undertaking, typically one that is difficult or require effort, a business or a company. We know America has turned into a business or a company. Okay. And we know what they're up to. They're going to try to implement the mark of the beast, the RFID microchip. They're going to try to implement it. And everybody who takes it is going to be destroyed. All these other countries, China, India, these countries are Sweden. These places are already mark of the beast ready. Okay, they're already mark of the beast ready. They just need a little push, so to speak. I'm just gonna get this real quick. Revelation 14:9. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. You go into the word mark is charagma, a stamp, an imprint and mark, which is talking about something physical. It says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Shemi Yahshua, which is poured out without mixture, into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, which is Yahweh Shai. So, in other words, you take that microchip, you're going to get burnt to bits. Okay, you're going to see those nukes. Okay, and you're going to feel the burn. You know, repenting from taking that the microchip, which is the mark of the beast. So 2020, it should be getting popping. Probably not the mark of the beast, but when that real ID pops off and everybody is mandatory, everybody got to have that real ID. We know what's rolling right after that, the microchip. But with that, I want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakal, Kadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, which are a great millstone. Peace and blessing to the sincere Akim, pushing the truth and sincerity. And diligently putting the videos up throughout the week to feed the sheep. Adawan, Ratazah, Thumb, Yakal, Shalom.